Now, there's a massive twist in the case of SFJ terrorist Jaswinder Singh, who's been arrested and is now in custody. Times Now learned that as per credible inputs, Jaswinder was likely to carry out a terror attack outside Punjab. In fact, he was also tasked by the ISI to carry out a car ID blast near the Red Fort in Delhi through one ex-serviceman contact in Punjab. In view of this input, Jaswinder was apprehended for further legal action. Let's in fact take this across to Executive Editor Nikunj Garg, who's joining us. Nikunj, now has this terrorist been arrested for the Ludhiana blast specifically, or are there wider linkages?
Well, for sure, Ludhiana blast is one of the investigating aspects that the agencies have been looking at, scouring for these kind of elements, particularly Pakistan-backed Khalistani terror elements. But the real and the emergent reason for the arrest of this terrorist Jaswinder Singh linked to Sikh Federation for Justice, Sikhs for Justice, is certainly not Ludhiana blast, Madhav. The urgency behind the steps of the Indian law enforcement and intelligence communities came from the fact that there was a larger, bigger conspiracy of trying to bomb Red Fort ahead of 26 January functions this year, backed by the Pakistan ISI. Now, one Colonel Bajwa, who is this man's handler, ISI handler, was providing all the wherewithal. Jaswinder Singh has very thick linkages with smugglers of Pakistan, who routinely smuggle narcotics material into Punjab and routinely falls through the cracks and therefore comes into the hinterland also. And that is why this man was being used to carry out a vehicle-borne ID kind of an attack outside the Red Fort. And why the Red Fort? If you would recall that last year during the farmers' protest, some elements from the farmer protest, according to the law enforcement, broke ranks and took a march into the Red Fort, where there was a big scuffle that broke out between the law enforcement apparatus and those protesters. However, farmers' leaders have always denied that those elements belong to them. Pakistan, wanting to remind to the world and wanting to claim in the world that all is not well between India and the Sikh peasantry, and because of that particular scuffle and because of that particular protest march also that happened at Red Fort, is wanting to once again carry out a symbolic attack outside Red Fort to amplify its message that not only in Kashmir but India also has problems with its minorities in Punjab.
Yeah, that's actually the question that I was coming to. What exactly is the role that has been played by Pakistan in this entire conspiracy, Nikunj?
Well, this is a complete conspiracy that has been hashed by Pakistan right from the very beginning. Jaswinder Singh obviously became a tool in the hands of the Pakistan ISI because of his thick linkages with the smugglers and because of the fact that the Pakistan ISI has been bankrolling his activities for a fairly long time. And there is an active Pakistan ISI handler handling him, obviously providing him with the funds and wherewithal, like a latent agent or a sleeper cell is provided by the intelligence services in many, many cases. So quite clearly, the wherewithal is of Pakistan. The conspiracy is by the Pakistanis, and Jaswinder Singh is acting as somebody who's lubricating the wheels of the entire conspiracy in trying to finally carry out this dastardly strike that the Pakistanis were planning to.
Thanks so much, Nikunj, for joining us with that update. We will keep coming back to you for more updates on the story. Let's go across to our guest joining us now. We have with us RSN Singh, author. But my first question to Major General G.D. Bakshi, defense expert. Major General G.D. Bakshi, Pakistan fishing in troubled waters is not something that India is unaware of. We've seen enough evidence of it in the past. But what is particularly of concern is that how Pakistan wants to try and exploit whatever little fissures there may be or certain feelings of discontentment by targeting important structures such as the Red Fort, and they're not going to lose any opportunity to do that, including through organizations such as SFJ.
Look, for the last decade, Pakistan has mounted a concerted campaign to revive terrorism in the Punjab as part of its infamous K2 project. Kashmir and Khalistan, they must be put on fire, the two critical Indian border states. First, they tried to swamp the Punjab with drugs. They knew the Khalistan movement had fizzled out. There was hardly any local support except from some lunatics in Canada and Great Britain and Europe. You see, this had fizzled out in the Punjab. This was one terrorist movement that had been decisively crushed by KPS Gill in the decade 1980 to 1990, decisively crushed by trying to create control zombies, drug addicts. They were trying to revive this movement through an army of druggies, right? And they had destroyed the youth of the Punjab, from where we used to get the best material for the armed forces. They could not pass the physical entry tests. This was the comprehensive level of drugs in which the politicians, everybody was involved. You know, and then they found that our fence was very effective, so they found a solution in the Chinese quad and hexacopters.
Right.
They started flying them across in large numbers. 72 sightings were done last year, and they were dropping arms, ammunition, grenades, IEDs, explosives, RDX, military grade explosives, and cash. The whole purpose was to revive the Khalistani movement. And
Right.
then we begin to see the curious case of sacrilege. Sacrilege, very, very designed to provoke communal violence, designed to provoke hatred between communities. You see, and then we found a political dispensation trying to facilitate the operation by ensuring that the BSF doesn't get, search and seizure rights beyond 50 kilometers as it had during the Punjab campaign in the decade of 80s to 90s, and then all sorts of shenanigans, and then trying to obfuscate what is clearly terrorist attacks at Ludhiana. And now what we have been able to foil, and thank God for the alertness of our intelligence agencies, attack on an iconic target in conjunction with our Republic Day, the Red Fort. Even they had tried to infiltrate the farmers' movement and try and create that incident, eyeball grabbing all over the world by attacking iconic targets like the Red Fort. They found it grabbed eyeballs all over the world. So now they decided to back it up with a explosive strike, with a car bomb.
In fact, it's also borne out by the fact.
In fact, let me bring in just in the nick of
Let
time.
me bring in Colonel Arison on that. Colonel Arison, it is also borne out by the fact that the SFJ has already put out videos supporting, in fact, those who would target the Red Fort, and that's all out there in the public domain. So the fact that SFJ wanted to target the Red Fort is not something that is unknown. It's out there in the public domain. However, what is of concern to India certainly is the manner in which Pakistan is trying to, surreptitiously bring out and support the Khalistan movement, and all of these elements, who were perhaps completely forgotten, who have no support on ground, once again attempts to revive them through various countries across the world.
There are two facets of this ISI planned and orchestrated Khalistani movement. One is the external facet, and one is the the Indian facet. So external facet is the Western countries, Canada, Germany, UK. Well, indeed, Mr. KPS Gill crushed it in Punjab. But it was not crushed in the Western countries. It simmered on. And so many years hence, 1984, Bulbul Barar, he was attacked with a knife. Imagine somebody was trailing. So it has never died down. And there, I think we indeed it was crushed physically, but we never addressed the problem ideologically. Just by saying handful of people here and there, and it really doesn't solve the issue on any enduring basis. But the case in instance, let me tell you, I was watching this entire trajectory of jihadi terrorism very carefully. The arc was being enlarged. And from LOC it came to IB, and then Punjab was also, it came into that arc. That is why there was an attack on Pathankot and so many other attacks on National Highway 1 Alpha. So Pathankot, by the way, Pathankot Air Base is in Punjab. I mean, many people, it's just for the benefit of many people, so it's not in Kashmir. And even today, universities and colleges in Punjab are being used as bases for operations by Lashkar-e-Taiba, Hizbul Mujahideen, Jaish-e-Mohammed. The students there are carrying out operations. Some of them are not coming back. Some of them are, they are using it as a base. I can name you at least 10 institutes right in and around Patiala. So this arc, it came to Singhu border. And let nobody tell me that, no, not everybody was like that, and not every... We saw the glimpse of Tehreek-e-Labak right there on the Singhu border. Just as Tehreek-e-Labak specializes in, blasphemy, with that Mumtaz Qadri thing. Similarly, we saw this, so there is no difference. And Mr. Sidhu, he has what should I call this man? He says that, anybody desecrating any religious book should be shot dead. Please, Mr. Sidhu, please don't speak about people who follow Gita.
Okay.
Nor you should speak on behalf of people who follow your holy book. At best, you have the right to speak on behalf of Tehreek-e-Labak Pakistan, your friend General Bajwa and your friend Imran Khan. Please don't. We don't believe in this bloody nonsense of blasphemy. We are open people. Our intellectual and religious depth is so deep that all these acts don't actually matter. Otherwise, Sanatan would have been vanquished by. So please don't talk on our behalf. You can talk on behalf of Tehreek-e-Labak.
Right.
I saw pain.
Right.
Talking like an animal.
Well, absolutely. In fact, but before we wrap up, Vijay and GD Bakshi, what does India need to do to ensure that, as Colonel Arasan Singh was referring to, the elements, these Khalistani elements that still exist on foreign soil, what should India really do to ensure this? Thankfully, we've had cooperation from the German side, obviously, and this person has been apprehended. Can we expect the same from other countries, at least other friendly countries and jurisdictions, where these individuals have been living in and obviously have been prospering for the past several decades?
Look at the way that China mounts pressure and uses all facets of pressure, economic, diplomatic and informational pressure on countries which even dare to support the human rights violations of the Uyghurs, speak up for them, speak up for the Tibetans. Just see the way China reacts against those countries. We have been very permissive. Canada has been doing it. In the United Kingdom, they have been organizing these kind of people, giving them shelter, giving them refuge, and they have gone into Europe in a major way, now into Germany and many other countries. And this speaks well of our intelligence effort of outreach.
Well, absolutely.
At least we
absolutely
have
speaks volumes of our outreach. Certainly a lot more that needs to be done, but this is clearly a wake-up call and a warning for all of us as far as the magnitude of the threat that India faces. Major General GD Bakshi and Arasan Singh, I'd like to thank both of you for joining us on the News Hour Agenda this evening.